You can't be comfortable with yourself if you don't know who yourself is. And you can't know who yourself is if you don't stop looking at how everybody around you is and start looking at what makes you comfortable and what makes you uniquely you. There's roughly close to, I guess, about 8 billion people on this planet, but there's only one you. You'll not find confidence in yourself if you don't know who yourself is. You won't find confidence in yourself if you're so busy trying to figure out what everybody around you thinks you ought to be. Would you stand out in the crowd?
How can we be the best version of us if we don't know who we are?
The most incredible thing in life is that you can choose to reinvent yourself at any point in your life. And today can be that day.
Not in a bad way. What makes you you doesn't need to be something that's immoral or obnoxious or uncomfortable, but just uniquely you. Me, what works for me, what I like, what I'm comfortable with, whether it be my wardrobe, whether it be the beard, whether it be the hair, whether it be the rifles and the handguns that I carry when I'm hunting and out in the woods, whatever it is, it's me.
Have the humility to say, I don't think I'm right, you know. Yeah. And how can we know who we are if we never stop, sit down, and realistically, honestly look at ourselves? And how can we sit down and honestly, realistically look at ourselves if we're glued to a phone or a television or a computer game or reading books? I'm a big proponent of reading. Even when you're reading, and I'm not in any way knocking reading unless you're reading good material, but you're listening to his words. There's times when you just need to sit down and listen to your own words, because maybe your words are foolish, but you never realize that your words are foolish because you never stop and listen to your words. There has to be periods of solitude and silence. You cannot be happy anywhere in the world with anybody in the world if you're not happy with yourself. You're closer to yourself than you are to anybody.
A lot of times, folks, especially young folks who I tend to empathize with and speak to more often, they're not comfortable because they're going along with the society that's around them, and they're trying to fit in the framework of what everyone around them or on whatever social media they're on says that they should be, how they should look, how they should conduct themselves. They're so busy trying to figure out what everybody around you thinks you ought to be and then match that, because you're not going to make people around you happy.
You see a lot of YouTube content that, to me, it's like they didn't really have a heart for anything. They're just, I'm going to be a YouTube star. So what do I need to do to be a YouTube star? And so they create a persona, and so they, and they chase that down. And
society, social media says that you need to dress and conduct yourself like you're making money on a street corner in LA somewhere. And you're like, there's something deep inside of you that's like, it's kind of cheap. I don't know. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be you. Be you, okay? Don't let social media and culture and television and media tell you how you should be and what you should be and who you should be. Now again, there are people who will use that as an excuse to be immoral.
Well, you look at television. We don't have a television, but I see stuff here and there. For years now, on television, dads are depicted as the biggest idiots. It's a direct attack. And so you take a small child who's sitting there watching the TV, and his entire life, from his cartoons up through the sitcoms, up through the drama series, up through his movies, his entire life, every dad he's ever seen portrayed was a complete idiot and a buffoon. How is he going to maintain respect for his own father? And how is he going to maintain then respect for himself as a man? Wow. Because he's been taught his entire life that his gender is the cause for all the problems in the world, and he's a failure, and he's a fool, and he's abusive just based on what his gender is if he happens to be masculine. about it, and so then we wonder what in the world's happened out there. And there's a lot of young men, I think, that are waking up and saying, no, I don't think this is the truth. I don't know what the truth is. I don't know where to find it. I don't know what to do with it if I do find it, but I don't think this is the truth. And so they're searching, and so in this deal, it's just kind of happened. It wasn't what I set out. I just kind of want to be the calm voice of reason. There's a lot of raging maniacs, angry people out there lobbing bombs over the other side, and I just want to be that calm voice of reason. There are guys who go to school. I want to be a psychologist. I want to be a therapist. I want to be this. I want to be a counselor. They go to school and they pursue it. That's what they want to do. That wasn't. And so when I get, you'd be surprised how many, when I get a comment from someone to say, I was sitting on the bed last night, getting ready to end it all. And for whatever reason, I saw this video and it gave me the hope and the courage to carry on.
And although I'm in a culture and in a society where everybody's doing it, I don't do it. I'm perfectly fine with everybody else doing it.
And be lively and be this and be that. And I'm like, if that's what I have to do to be successful, then I won't be successful. Because, from the very beginning, if this makes sense, I didn't start this with the goal of being successful.
Because I kind of stand out. All right, I kind of stand out. I don't look like the sheep. All right, I'm me. I want to wear an old black felt hat. I do. I want a beard. I grow it.
Well, if you hear, you hear stories, and the two main ones when they talk about this subject that come to mind is Colonel Sanders and Abraham Lincoln. How many times did he fail?
Yeah.
And Colonel Sanders failed, and he was an old man by the time he succeeded. And so this success comes on the heels of years and years of failures. So it's not just a case of you can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to fail again. And again and again. It's getting back up. Some people are afraid of falling that first time. So it's just getting up again and again and again. And every time you fail, you learn from it, So that failure was necessary. That failure was positive. That failure taught you another piece of the puzzle that you're going to need when you finally succeed. You're only going to have what you need to succeed because you gained it from your failures. And if you don't have any failures, you don't have anything to build your success on because you didn't learn anything. If we had succeeded when we first tried to start this school 20 years ago, it would have bombed horrifically.
Really?
Yeah, because I wasn't ready as a person. My temperament, my personality, my growth, my maturity, I wasn't ready. So that had to fail before this could succeed. And I think many times we don't realize that our failures, when we start out to do something, our failures are blessings in disguise. We failed at it because we weren't ready to do it. It doesn't mean we're not supposed to do it. It just means we're not the solid, mature, calmer, experienced person who can actually make this work. And so, yeah, it was a good thing. It was a good thing that it failed back then.
That's crazy to say.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it failed. And I want to point out this. I feel like I see a lot of people, well, this is just who I am. And just you're gonna have to just deal with this is who I am, as if they're never going to change. Thank God I'm not the same guy I was when I was 25. And I hope when I'm 60, I'm not the same guy I am right now.
Right. And that's what it takes. It's humility. Horsemanship is a lifetime of study. It's like anything else that you want to master. You're constantly studying it. You live it, you sleep it, you eat it, you breathe it, you study it, you dream it. You humble yourself and learn from anybody. You humble yourself and get out there and make mistakes and learn from your own mistakes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get up and you go over and you apologize to the horse for being an idiot and you get back on and try again. I knew years and years and years ago what I wanted to look like as a horseman. I wanted what I wanted my horsemanship, the level I wanted it to be at. And so I have to have the humility and the common sense to look at myself constantly and say, son, you ain't there yet. You're not even close to there yet. Solitude and reflection and silence is lost. But I think today that's one of the biggest things that we've lost. That's playing such a huge part in the destruction of society today. What is the point of being a masculine, manly man if you're a stupid man? But what is the point of being a brilliant, studied, educated, whatever, if you're a weakling? Everything in life that has any value is balance. There's a balance. There has to be a balance. And today, men have lost the balance. They can go out. You have men who can go to the gym and they can work out and they're very strong. And they can drink a lot of booze before they get drunk, or whatever, all these manly traits. But they can't read a book. They can't sit down and have an intelligent discussion about a deep subject that matters. You can't have all noise and no silence. Just try to be the best human you can be, but at your best, you're still just a human. Yeah. And we don't, and again, a lot of this today, I'm gonna put it back at the feet of television, because people have grown up with an unrealistic depiction of what heroism is, of what courage is, of what kindness is, of what wisdom is, and so our heroes are spotless. They're without blemish, they're without fault on television. We got Superman, we got the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger caught all these bad guys in his suit, never got dirty. And so we grow up thinking that's what it means to be a good guy, and I don't measure up.
So why try?
So some of my biggest heroes in history are Winston Churchill, Theodore Roosevelt. Winston Churchill was gargantuan.
Yep.
And his appetites were gargantuan.
They were. His schedule.
That
was crazy.
It was crazy. But look at what he did, And I've had people get on the channel when I've talked about how much I respect Churchill, and they say, oh, he did this, he did that, and they look at this. I'm like, yeah, that's the beauty of it. He was a flawed human being, and he still accomplished all this. Theodore Roosevelt, same thing. If you get in and really study, he was a flawed human being. They're erasing all of our founding fathers because they find that they were humans. They were flawed, and they don't look at the tremendous things that were right that they did, changing the course of the world. But today, it's like somebody does something that's the least bit flawed and they're canceled.
Yep.
And they're canceled. So people are like, I can't measure up, so I won't try.
God, that makes me so mad. Like what happened failure used to be a thing. Like, okay, you failed and then you succeeded. Good on you. But now it's just like, oh, you failed. That's it. Move on to the next person.
So I just want to, I just try to encourage people. Hey, your humanity, that is your glory. That is your glory. Your failure, and then you're getting back up. The man who never failed has no glory. The man who fell and got back up, that's where his glory is. The man who fell 20 times and got up 21 times, that man has even greater glory.
Wow. That
man has more courage, way more courage than the guy who was so strong from birth that he never failed. There's no glory in that. It's not. And so I just try to encourage guys. It's like, hey, we're humans, but we have inside of us, we have a courage, and we have a determination, and we can have a strength and a gentleness at the same time. Our glory comes from our faults, accomplishing what we accomplish in spite of our faults. And without the faults, there is no glory, because there's no victory. And So, you know, all the failures in business, all the failures in everything, you know, as a husband, as a father, all that stuff. But, you know, we look where we are today and say we didn't